So hello everyone and welcome to the Emmyakintzshow. And today we'll be having a very good friend of mine, a word poet, a public speaker, a coach, public speaking coach and poetry coach here. So please say hello to all of us.
Hi, thank you for having me,
Yeah.
Emmanuel. Like you said, my name is Hameed aka the Poet on Fire. So I'm a spoken word poet, a public speaker, as well as a coach for both poetry and public speaking.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us today.
So,
And first of all, we're asking for your background when it comes to public speaking and word poetry. How have you been so far?
okay, so I have a very interesting story for this one, right? So I like to tell this story that one of the earliest memories that I have, I'm in the playground and there are these crates outside, and I stand on these crates and I'm singing Michael Jackson songs and I'm dancing and I'm kicking and I'm hee hee, all of that stuff. And it gets to the point I'm doing this every day. And one of my teachers, Mrs. Childers, she really enjoyed it. So she ended up starting to prepare the crates there for me, like as a stage. And she'll call people from older classes. I was in something like reception nursery class. And she would call my seniors from primary one, primary two, come watch during playtime. And it would become this whole show. And I'd be kicking and dancing and Michael Jackson songs and Thriller, all of that. So that's one of the earliest memories that I have. So it shows that from a very, very young age, I've loved the spotlight. I've loved the stage. And from there, I just progressed. I always liked writing rhymes and raps and speaking in public and talking to people and, being the captain of football teams and school council. So these things require you to talk a lot and be an effective communicator. So that's where I started. And I'd say that I only started taking poetry seriously towards the tail end of 2019, secondary school, SS2, SS3. So yeah, that's my background.
Oh, that's a very interesting background. Like I was lit up literally.
Yeah.
So it has been a long time coming.
I've been in the space of speaking for a while. Right? When I was younger, everybody used to just call me a talkative because I just enjoyed talking, and I was in an enabling environment that allowed me to speak freely. And so from there, I just had not had that inhibition or lack of ability to speak when I need to speak. I'm never afraid to put up my hand, ask a question, talk to someone, call someone out. And yeah, I've always found that to be a kind of superpower. Yeah, it's been a superpower, but to me, it's not that super. It should be something that everybody is capable of doing. And as I said, my poetry journey began in 2019. If you remember, there was xenophobia attacks in South Africa, right? So I wrote a poem. I thought it was a rap at the time, but my sister later told me this is poetry. And so from there, people were like, "Whoa, you're good at this." And then when somebody compliments you, you do it more.
Yeah.
And since 2019, so it's over half a decade now. So, yes, sir.
That's very interesting. There was a part you mentioned something about people calling you talkative as a child.
Yes.
Because I've seen cases, or rather, I've seen cases where people are like, this boy talks too much, this girl talks too much as a child. And I look at it and I'm like, you shouldn't kill such traits. Like, if a child seems to talk too much, there's probably something in their destiny or their future that needs that. So rather, we should look for how to build on it and not necessarily kill it.
Yes, exactly. I think the way to go about because children who speak a lot, to speak comfortably in front of others is a skill that is very dependent on courage and self-belief, right? Especially in young children. You see a lot in young children, very young children, they're not afraid to talk. You get to primary 5, primary 6, it's gone down. Get to secondary school. Exactly. Right? So we've conditioned the freeness and the curiosity of children out of them by using society, using the school system, all of these ways that we call formal education. We've taken that ability away from them. So the best thing is to kind of steer them in the right direction. What are they talking about? it might be annoying if they're just talking about, hey, Superman, hey, Power Rangers, SPD, da, da, da. But if you push it in the right direction and you engage with young children about, okay, this thing happened today on the news. Did you know about this? No, I don't really care about the news. Blah, blah, blah. No, but this happened. This is what this is. This is what that is. And then you start to condition them to value speaking and communication, and then start talking about things that are quote unquote more meaningful than Power Rangers and things of that nature. And then that allows the brain to expand. And from there, sky's the limit.
Wow. God bless the woman that helped you set this stage when you were younger.
God bless her. God bless her. God bless my mom. God bless my family members. God bless my parents, because they, even though they would comment on it on times, they did allow me to kind of spread my wings and do what I wanted to do. So God bless everybody in my family.
Amen. I also want to ask, speaking of societal conditioning, is there really anything that, how is it happening? How is it conditioning people, the things that the society or the school environment does, or what some parents do? How is it killing, let's say, the trait of someone in a line of something you're doing?
Okay. I would say it's very dependent on, it's weird how young people like us will start talking about parents and this educational system, and this is how you should treat your kids. But I think it's true. I think it boils down to the way that the children are raised, the environment. So that's not just the parents, that's the school system, that's the relatives that are around, that's the society that they're in. If they are in a limiting environment, they say, you talk too much, stop talking, go and do this, go and sit down.
Exactly that too.
Exactly that tone, right? Instead of allowing children to explore. Because you have to notice something. A child's brain, they say it's a sponge, right? But it's not a joke. They are the fastest learners in the world. Like if a child lives in a house where 3 languages are being spoken, that child will be able to speak 3 languages. Now, me and you now, if you want to learn 3 languages, how easy will it be? Right? And they are very malleable. Their brains are literally soft and malleable, but at the same time, in a more figurative sense, they're very impressionable. Anything that you say or do around children, they pick up on it. And they know what's good, what's bad, right? That's why if you say a bad word around children, you may be saying good words all the time. You may be saying, beautiful, this. The moment you say like a curse word or this, they'll start repeating it. Because they know it's not what they're supposed to be doing. They pick up on these things. Yeah. So the point I'm getting to here is we have to create an enabling environment. We have to allow children to explore, and we have to occupy them with productive things. Right? You're tired and annoyed by your child talking about Power Rangers SPD. Teach them how to play chess. Teach them how to read newspapers. Teach them how to read books, interesting story books, right? And from these books, they're children versions. You may not even, if you can get to the point where you're not even giving them children's books. You're giving them books of philosophy. You're giving them books, as long as it's in English and they know how to read English. Mm-hmm. If they don't understand it, that's the avenue that they will be talking. Instead of Power Rangers, this, they'll be like, what did this word mean? I read this here. It produces this engaging, productive field for the child to expand into. And things like this are unfortunately not too common, right? It's only in a few households where that opportunity is given. And when it is given, you just see extraordinary benefits of it. You see these children are winning awards, they're going to conferences, they're artists, they're scientists, doctors, professors, teachers. And it's because of the environment that they were brought up in. So if more people were aware of this and enlightened about how to cater to the expanding mind of a child, then a lot of these issues that we get in public speaking, in performance, in conversation later on wouldn't have come up in the first place.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. There is need for the enabling environment. Also, what of cases of, say, children that they didn't necessarily grow up in that manner,
Okay.
but maybe something they are doing along the line in their career
Mhm.
it now requires that
Yeah.
they switch.
So, would please help me with the question? Like, are we trying to grow? What can these kids do to grow it, or what
Yeah.
can the parents do to enable it in
So
that type of
let's
situation?
say the kid is already grown up
Okay.
and is now trying to get into it.
Okay.
So maybe he's funny normally amongst his friends,
Mhm.
but now wants to go into stand-up comedy, but the stage is a lot to handle.
A lot bigger, right?
Yeah.
So it's baby steps, right? It's progression. So anything that we do and we want to get good at, we start off not that great. What do? We learn. So we observe those that are good at it. You have those that are in the position you want to be. You watch what they do. You learn about their traits. On both sides of the spectrum, for those that want to help and for the person themselves, you're going to have to do a lot of research. And if you're around that person, you have to enable that research. You have to prompt them. You have to remind them. You have to keep them accountable. And it's just these simple steps of allowing people to not stray, to not give excuses and move away from the path that they are interested in and they have potential at. So it just takes a lot of research, practice, and a lot of self-help, right? The term is self-help. There's lots of self-help books. Think and Grow Rich, all of that kind of stuff, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But the essence is understanding what's going on inside you and trying to improve from there. So there are processes that we can go through. There are specific steps, but the main gist is identify what it is what you want to do. That's even the main issue, right? That person, that example that you gave of someone that wants to be a comedian, they know what they want to do. It's easy from there, right? It's easy. You know what you want to do. You look at the examples that are given to you. You research. You work hard. You practice. You go to open mics. You practice your skill. Yeah, open mics.
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
Oh, you've not heard of it? Okay, so, but yeah, so an open mic is an event where people are free to express themselves using a microphone. Right. So you just it's open mic. Mic is open. So you come there, it's usually set up. It's usually mostly used for poets and comedians, like stand-up comics. But there's improv, there's acting, there's a little bit of drama. Anybody who has anything to say, they come to an open mic, they sign up, and there's a group of strangers where you can practice these skills. Be it spoken word poetry, be it comedy, be it drama and improv. It's like a safe space where you can test your boundaries. And the fact that you weren't too aware of it means that we need more of them in Nigeria. We need more of them. Personally, I run open mics through the Poetry and Literacy Society. Check that out, pals. So I'm the project director of the Poetry and Literacy Society, and we started something called the Open Mic Footer Show in 2023. And PALS became a full entity in 2024. Now we've expanded. We've done an open mic Accra show. We've done events in Bayelsa, in Lagos, and we're projecting lots of progress next year. And hopefully we'll be on the show more talking about PALS.
Yeah. Wow. So 2026 is going to be a big year in that aspect.
That's great. Yeah.
Hallelujah. That's very wonderful. I also remember as you were speaking, I remembered something I actually asked. It takes audacity to jump on the stage in the first place. So I was asking one of my lecturer from school, how can I really get to this point of being very audacious with my stuff? Especially if I come from a background where self-expression is not really the way.
Yeah.
So he said, first of all, don't be totally non-cultured just because you want to be different. But then go about reading books. And then as you mentioned books, it just clicked in my head. Well, are there, okay, you mentioned Think and Grow Rich. Are there books you
those
can
are,
also...
Well, those are just the generic self-help books, right? There's this book that I was reading about performance poetry. I could probably send that to you after I've forgotten the name. But when it comes to building confidence and things of that nature. There's this very interesting book that I read called The Courage to be Disliked.
Courage to be disliked.
It's a beautiful book. I personally I read it like 3 times. So I think it really nails that issue of confidence, of understanding happiness, of being comfortable in a society. So I believe Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga, those are the names of the authors, Japanese authors. And they were, I think one of them is a philosopher, one of them is a psychologist. So the whole thing is not just one of those self-help books where someone's like, hey, I did this, I did that, my friend did this, and wow, I became a millionaire after coming from... No. They framed it as something more interesting. They framed it as a conversation between a philosopher and a youth that's angry at the world, a youth that believes that the world is hard, it's difficult, it's stuck in its ways. But this philosopher is like, no, it's not. The world is easy. It's very simple. Life is simple. And this guy is angry. He's like, what are you talking about? How is it simple? What, are you crazy? And then the philosopher is just like, I have a very wild imagination. So I'm imagining how it would be played out. Yeah. I can just imagine, what are you talking about? Life is so hard and difficult. The philosopher, no, it's not. It's actually very simple. How could you say it's simple? And so through the process of several, I think 5 nights, this man breaks down philosophy using Adlerian psychology. He breaks down philosophy using Adlerian psychology. So Alfred Adler is a psychologist, but he's a great philosopher. Philosophy and psychology are inextricably intertwined. So philosophy is the love of knowledge, right?
Yes.
Understanding what is life? Why are we here? The fundamental existential questions, right? Psychology is how people feel, think, and act. Now, the way we feel, think, and act governs our philosophy. It governs the way we see the world. It governs how we personally answer those existential questions.
Yeah. And when our belief.
What is it?
How we form our belief.
Exactly. So I think what Adler did was he focused on the human psyche, understanding why people behave like this to answer those bigger philosophical questions. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, right?
Yeah.
So this philosopher is using Adlerian psychology to teach this youth about life. And I think it hits across all the points of learning how to live well, of becoming happy, understanding what happiness is, of becoming confident, of rejecting trauma. Now that's a whole thing on its own. And I think it links directly with public speaking and, confidence and stage fright. Do you want me to go into this directly or?
Yes, actually. Okay. Because we would like to, even for example, the Adlerian psychology.
Yeah. Okay, so, there's a lot.
Okay.
I'm trying to see how I can break this down.
Yeah.
So, rejecting trauma now. The reason why I brought up rejecting trauma is because there's this idea of Freudian, is it psychology or philosophy? Freudian psychology. There's a man called Sigmund Freud, right? There's Carl Jung, there's Sigmund Freud, and there's Alfred Adler. They're known as like the 3 giants of modern philosophy. So Freud's school of thought is all about trauma. You are the way you are because of whatever happened to you in your past, right? And that's why it's helpful, but I feel like it's very harmful. Because once people learn using that school of thought, they can attach it, it's okay for me to be like this and stay like this because I had a horrible childhood. And they use that as an excuse to limit themselves. So I think that's one of the pitfalls of Freudian etiology, it's called. So you are affirming trauma. You're saying, I had a horrible childhood. I never had a father figure. That's why I'm unruly. That's why I'm this and that. And then you're accepting it. You're saying, that's why I'm the way I am. I can't change it. However, Adlerian psychology or Adlerian teleology rejects trauma. And it has this premise where you create, trauma doesn't matter. Whatever happened in the past doesn't matter. You create your future or your present state based on your analysis. It may be subconscious, but based on your analysis of what is most beneficial to you. To give an example, this is an example given in the book. You use anger. Let's say a woman is shouting at her daughter because her daughter spilled a cup of coffee, right, on her leg. We can all say from trauma that she's shouting because the child spilled something on her.
Yeah.
Cause effect, right? That's the reason why she's shouting. But then at the same instant, she gets a phone call. As she's shouting, she gets a phone call from somebody that she owes money. She picks up the call. Oh, Mr. Johnson, how are you? Somebody that was just screaming her head off at this child. You threw coffee on my, you stupid. Mr. Johnson, how are you? Ah, wow, I didn't know. I'll pay it. Yeah. Are you crazy? Do you see what I mean? So she can switch that anger back on. So the cause and effect chain breaks there, because you can't just say because she poured it, she's shouting, because she still poured it. So you pick the call, you're not shouting anymore.
Yeah.
So you can see that she's using that anger as a tool which she believes is most beneficial for that situation. She believes that the best thing to do in order to suppress this girl or to make her feel smaller is to overpower her and to shout. She could have spoken kindly. She could have said, why did you do that? She could have said, please clean this up. She could have said, what happened? The child will explain, I don't know, I was nervous, I was scared. Maybe she's living in a very scary environment and the mom's always screaming. That's why do you understand? So the point here is you cannot always count on cause and effect. Sometimes, in fact, not even sometimes, I believe most of the time, we create the best possible scenario on what's most beneficial to us in our minds, and that is what we base our thoughts off of. How does this tie to public speaking and anxiety, right? So the main thing is that people are afraid of, they call it stage fright, right? There was a study done in the US, and people were more afraid of public speaking than death. It was the number one most scary thing. Why? Because they're afraid of judgment. They believe they have created, instead of it being cause effect, trauma and scars, that maybe something bad happened to me on stage, that's why I'm not on stage. It's teleology. They have created a mental state of mind where they should not be on stage because it reduces their risk of being ridiculed. And that's what causes the stage fright. Are you seeing the point how Adlerian psychology, understanding why people behave the way they do is necessary for this knowledge? And so when a person has already built this framework in their mind, in order to remove that stage fright, you have to go directly at that root cause. Why? And what makes it difficult is it's almost always subconscious. You don't know that you're doing it.
Yeah.
You have to dig deep and find, okay, this is why I'm afraid of this. I don't want people to call me stupid. I have this thing where I must always be intelligent. So if people call me stupid, I feel rejected. And if I feel rejected, that's scary. And I don't want that. And all of that will go away if I don't even go on stage in the first place. Wow. So, so we have to understand that the issue of stage fright, there's loads of things we can talk about posture, confidence, preparation, but the core of it is the psychology. And if we understand this framework of Adlerian psychology and teleology, of creating this mindset of why we do certain things, if we can break that subconscious barrier and understand, oh, this is why I've never done this before, because I've created this mental model where if I step on stage, I know that I'm going to do badly, or if I step on stage, I'm going to get ridiculed, right? Understanding this and targeting that directly, shattering that framework is what leads to confident speakers.
Wow, yeah. Wow, that was actually a lot.
A lot.
I mean, if I were to give a summary now, a practical summary to someone, I think I'll tell the person something like, first of all, why are you scared? It takes two to cancel two for it to become zero, right? So you have to find the points where, or rather what's going on, a lot of self-reflection, which might take time. Because I look back now and I see a lot of that.
Yourself?
Yes, because while truly now I can face the stage,
Mm.
there was a time where it was hell for me.
Mm.
Right, so I got to a point where it first started when I was learning music,
Okay.
piano. My music teacher would tell me, if you make a mistake, just continue. That was one. Two, never look people in the eye. Look at their foreheads.
All of
That you're
these,
still
all of these
scared.
are targeting symptoms.
Yeah,
They're not targeting the root cause.
yeah,
Looking in people's eyes is not the issue here, right? If you looked, if you don't look, that's not what will stop you from. It's the judgment that you get from people's faces.
yeah,
So if you look and people are smiling, you won't have an issue. But if you
Yeah.
look and someone is doing this, or someone's looking at their phone, that's where the issue arises
yeah.
because of that judgment. So you can see we're looking at the symptoms and not the root cause. So please continue.
So, guys, I just added this little break to say Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year, and let's get back into it.
So you were saying that you can see how this affected you in your musical journey.
Yes, how it affected me. So, eventually, what happened was it was even just more than the music. But let's say initially I was using that during my early days. I would look at people's foreheads. If I make a mistake, I'll just continue regardless. Then eventually, when I had more reasons to come on stage or to be on camera, and also about my life generally, I started to ask questions like, why are you scared of this? Why is this bothering you? Why this? Why that? Reflecting and reflecting and reflecting, because I'm very deep reflective. Yeah, I'll look at it. Can be 2 months later and I'll remember why what happened 2 months ago happened. So that kind of thing. So eventually I would say, okay, first of all, where I grew up, I was not very expressive. In fact, there's something they call Osonu. I don't really know if that's how they pronounce it, but basically I was one of those little children or those little boys that when you are talking to them, they just keep everything inside. They won't talk. So that kind of thing, I started to ask questions, and eventually I was able to start to break the barrier. And while I'm still battling it, I believe there's progress.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh,
So
thank you.
it's understanding. It's a case by case basis, right? So there's no one shoe fits all solution to stage fright, because people have stage fright for different reasons. And there's even something that I like to talk about with my students and in my courses that I have. It's within something called the psychological factor. We've already expressed the importance of psychology.
Yeah.
But that feeling of anxiety, of your heart rate increasing, starting to sweat, that's normal, one. But not only is it normal, the brain cannot distinguish whenever that's happening. The brain doesn't know if it's fear or if it's excitement. So it's the same part of your brain. It's something called the amygdala, right? So it's in the lower region, central to lower region of the brain. So it's more animalistic. It's more innate. It's a more innate feature of the human animal. And it's linked to fight or flight. So if you've noticed, there's this issue of fight or flight. Some people run away, some people fight it, right? Fleeing would be fear, they're scared, right? Fighting it, you say that person is brave and they're filled with energy, right? You see, it's the exact same thing. It's the same mechanism that changes it. So when that thing is happening, when you're feeling that anxiety or nerves before public speaking, before talking to people, before engaging with an important person, your brain doesn't know if it's fear or if it's excitement. Your subconscious brain doesn't know. Your conscious brain can then assign fear to it. And once you do that consciously, you say, oh, I'm scared. You start to act scared. And that moves into your physiology and the way you act and your hands shaking and twitching. But if you say, I'm excited, and if you try and condition your mind to say you're excited, a different physiological change happens. So that's something that's like a trick that you can try and trick your mind into picking one of the two. And we often use the fear instead of excitement. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? That's just the outward expression. The real reason why we have that fear, or we have that anxiety, or we have the inhibitants, the the blockade in your mind that stops you from wanting to do it in the first place. It boils down to what you're talking about. Why? Why? And if you can get to that why of a specific person, from there it's quite easy to move forward.
Yeah, and the why is different for everyone.
Everybody. So the why is different for everyone, but the general overarching reason is that feeling of being judged. I think I mentioned that briefly. And before we even set up, I was talking about why that happens itself and the whole tribalistic element to it.
Yeah.
And not wanting to be rejected from the tribe. So should I go into that, or are we gone a bit overboard?
Yeah, because time we're really going into we've gone very far.
We've gone pretty deep. But very briefly, human beings at our core were animals. And we used to live we're social animals, and we used to live in big tribes. And one of the worst things that could happen to you is being excommunicated from the tribe, because it means basically death. And one of the reasons why you'd be excommunicated is because they judge you. So they would judge and then reach a consensus that this person is not fit. A similar thing is triggered when you're forced to speak in front of a large group of people. You feel like if I do something wrong, the tribe will judge me and I'll be excommunicated. And it's this root animalistic behavior that drives most of stage fright and the fear of communication in the first place.
Oh, I really understand. Because many times when I'm on the stage, it's like, what would this person think?
Exactly.
What if I say something that is against what he thinks? Yeah. And then we now have to clash.
If I had a student, I won't name her name, she would have destroyed herself, destroyed her image of herself before even talking, before even getting there. She will just be talking without her even, I would say, demonstrate a talk for me. She's like, I'll be thinking, what if they think I'm stupid? My teeth did this, I did this. Who's thinking of that, right? A very attractive young lady, and she's thinking about, I don't look like this. What if they call me this? My voice is this, right? You have subconsciously, not even subconsciously, consciously, in your mind, you have destroyed the image of yourself. And that's what you believe, because you cannot see yourself. That's what you believe you're projecting to others. And people notice that. And that's where you can see the difference between great speakers and people that are just picking it up.
Reminds me of one guy. So first of all, on YouTube, the shoe he wore was one oversized shoe. And he did it intentionally.
Okay.
And then I think he's also a coach.
Okay.
So he told one of them, shout. They're like, Okay, imagine no one was here. Is that how you would shout? So
yeah,
in a nutshell, we realize that the person is not shouting freely because they are wondering, what
will they think if I actually shout?
Yeah. But although we're already taking a lot of time. But speaking of something else also, I think articulation is an art.
It is
an art. To articulate your words and all of that. Because not many people can do that basically. Not many people can express themselves or what they are trying to say.
That's very true. What would you like me to talk on here, and how quickly should I talk on it?
Okay, basically the art of articulation. Yeah, getting to the point of being able to articulate very well. Yeah.
So I think first thing we should do is we shouldn't blame ourselves. We shouldn't think, I just don't know how to talk. Because I have this pet peeve. Some of our most famous celebrities, you'll see them in an interview, and whenever they talk, it irritates me because I know what they want to say, but they don't know how to use the words to properly encapsulate what they're trying to give to an audience. And I'm like, these are the people that are famous. These are so-called celebrities, and I have this issue. So it's a very general thing. What articulation is being able to convey a message clearly, and it comes with practice. Most people, we can say basically everybody knows how to talk, right? The issue isn't being able to talk. The issue is being able to talk in front of others, or in strange scenarios, or with words that are very precise. All of that is just encompassed in practice, right? Why do you think baseball players, they have to swing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times in practice before they hit a home run, right? Because the pressure and the situation of having to hit that home run is completely different from practice. So if you hit a home run once in practice, you say, hey, I'm good, you're deluding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You could be talking to your brother or your sister and be completely comfortable. We're meeting the president tomorrow, you're going to give an opening address. Completely different story, right? Because it's a different situation.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare yourself for that? Practice. It sounds annoying, it sounds cliche, but practice. Talk to strangers often. Ask questions in class if you're in a school setting. Purposely answer questions wrong sometimes. Just so you can see what's the worst that can happen. They shout. They say, oh, it's not serious. Did they kill you? Right? Did they throw something at you?
No.
In fact, some people find it amusing. Some people are tired of class. They want somebody to disrupt class. And you're there saying rubbish answers.
Perfect.
So it's working it like a muscle. You do push-ups to get a big chest. You do bicep curls to get a big... So to get a vast vocabulary and robust articulation, you must practice often. You should read books, watch movies, learn words. Right? I read books all the time and I'll be like, what does this word even mean? Okay, I know what this word... I've seen this word before. I've forgotten the meaning. I have to go through it again and again and again. And then understanding fundamental meanings of words is another thing. Sometimes I'll hear people say words and I'll be like, I'll have to check the meaning again. Are you using this thing properly? And often they're not. So it sounds cliche, but practice makes progress. And you can practice by talking to strangers, asking questions, volunteering to talk on stage, volunteer. They'll say, who wants to pray for us? Go out and pray. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature. So yeah.
Yeah. And finally, who inspires you the most?
What a question. Who inspires me the most? Okay. There's lots of answers to this question. And you know, personally, I'm trying to look for the best answer because I'm scared of what people will think. That's what I mean. But I'm a Muslim. And we follow the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And we believe he's like the best person to have ever walked the earth. And where I derive, if you go through his life story, his oratory ability, his ability to speak, because we believe he was given the Quran, which is what we believe, the word of God. Before even being handed that as I would say burden, as well as blessing, as a responsibility, he had a way of speaking that encapsulated people, right? He was noble in character. He was brave. He was the epitome of what a man should be. And I would say I look up to him. If you're talking about poets, I really like Rudy Francisco. And funny enough, Muhammad Ali, the boxer, he's also a poet. If you've seen the way he speaks and he hypes himself up before fights, those are a few of the people that I find to be inspirational.
Very interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes, and hopefully you have another one very soon.
Hopefully. Because there's still a lot to get into.
Yeah. You can just help us round up with your...
Okay, we should round up with the thing.
The tradition.
Okay, so as the poet on fire, whenever I close off my videos or my poems, we do a thing, and it's my catchphrase. It's three words: peace, love, progress. Thank you.
Peace,
love, progress. Should we do it together? 1, 2, 3. Peace, love, progress.
Try code.
No.
Try code. I'm still videoing you. That's the way I'm doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing that.